An athlete asked, how can I regain my confidence?
Yeah, this is huge. So if this is, so regain my confidence, I'm assuming this is a mental block athlete or someone who's in a place like struggling with something new. So they had confidence and they lost it. One of their biggest reasons that happens is because as athletes progress, and I'm assuming this is a cheerleader,
Yeah.
but in cheer, the older you get, the higher level team you get, the more skills that you get, the more aware you are that things need to move faster, you need to get more. There's just more
Yeah.
expectation and more pressure the further that you go and the longer you're in the sport. And so the
Hmm.
the sport itself, it feeds into this perfectionism. You have to do all your skills. You have to do them every time. You're only allowed to work on a skill. I mean, think about when you're learning a new stunt. If that stunt doesn't hit within the first few times, the coach changes it or moves someone
Yeah.
out. Like
Yeah.
these athletes do not get an opportunity to develop skills anymore. And
No.
it's not fair, but it's the nature of it. It's unfortunate. And so more than ever, it's so important for these kids and teens to be able to think in a healthy way so they don't personalize it. But that's what happens to confidence. It's my coach took me out of the stunt, so I did something bad. Or I'm not good enough to be in this tumbling pass because my coach removed me. So I
Hmm.
think one of the things is accepting that whatever, if a situation like that happened, right, where there was someone else involved and that caused a confidence hit, it's understanding that coaches, their job is to make decisions that are best for the team, which includes you, and to separate yourself from that. Just because you're not in a tumbling pass does not mean you're bad. It does not mean you're not a good tumbler, a good cheerleader, or a good person. That's a big thing too. It's like there's so much
Hmm.
value you bring to the team. If this is confidence in a specific skill and you want to know how to develop that, one of the best ways is to notice the things you're doing well. Because our confidence takes a hit when we focus on the thing we're not doing. I
Yeah.
should have this skill. I should be throwing this by myself. I should be able to do it because I used to do it. I have to get it because she has it, right? There's
Yeah.
so much pressure that goes into this. But if you just kind of take a step back and it's like, no, like their talent has nothing to do with mine. Their position, that has nothing to do with mine.
Yeah.
Why should I be able to do it because I used to do it? I know I've had to relearn things in my past. I used to know how to crochet. If you gave me needles right now, I'd be like, I don't know what to do with this. So
Yeah.
as you, I think it's confusing for athletes too. It's like when you used to be able to do a skill or you used to be confident and you're not anymore. Well, you're
Hmm.
more aware of there's more things happening. Before, when you were young and it was just fun and you were doing it for the love of the sport, you didn't pay attention to what other people were doing. You didn't
Yeah.
care, like your coach wasn't putting that pressure on you because you were newer. A lot of athletes who develop mental are more like naturally gifted, like they move up very quickly, and a lot of it just has to do with that more perfectionist wiring. They like attention to detail. They like thinking about all the pieces and parts, which causes you to improve your technique. It causes you to get skills. And most of the athletes that I mean, it's just a sign. And this is something that is really challenging to hear if you have a mental block, but they're the most beautiful tumblers. Like mental block athletes, like their back handsprings are flawless, which is confusing for others, like when they're not doing them. But
Yeah.
there's this standard of my skills have to be perfect if they're worth doing.
Yeah.
That gets adopted. And so it's really taking a step back from that, from being the goal of I have to be perfect. Everything needs to be exactly like it used to be. It's like, no, give
Mhm.
yourself a little grace. Like you know more now than you used to. You're aware of more things going on around you. The pressure and expectations are more than they used to be. And that can cause a challenge like a mental block. And so
Mhm.
it's taking a step back, breaking the skill into pieces, and focusing on the good things you're doing, showing up
Yeah.
for practice when you don't want to, pulling out your air track and dusting it off, even if all you do is 10 straight jumps or, back walkovers, right? That's
Yeah.
okay. Appreciating that because that's what builds confidence is the more you see those little things of hey, I'm doing good things, then your confidence goes up. That's really
Yeah.
helpful.
So if someone found this helpful or they suffer from mental blocks or anxieties or fears themselves, then how can they work with you or how can you help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to get started is to sign up for a no cost conversation with me. So I offer free performance check sessions, and that is a 30-minute virtual call. And the whole point of that is really to discuss what are your goals, what do you want, what's your dream, where do you want to be, and then where you are today. and I want to have a conversation and help this athlete see how to kind of close the gap. How do you get from where you are to where you want to be? And getting them to understand what's happening so they can let go of that frustration. That's really helpful. And what are some steps they can go ahead and start taking to move forward? So that's something I offer. It's called a performance check session. You can get signed up for it at mgpcoach.com/performance check session. And we'll put the link below this video. We'll include it somewhere so that they can get access and get signed up for that. Spots are limited, so if they want to get signed up, if this is interesting, absolutely go ahead and get signed up, please. But it's a great conversation. I spend about 20 minutes with the athlete, then do a parent recap at the end for the last 10 minutes. And it's no pressure, no obligation. It's just, I just want to help you, talk to you, give you some things to think about, give you things to consider maybe you haven't before so that they can move forward in their skills. And then if they found it helpful and they want to know more about what the programs look like and what maybe the best next step would be for them, then at the end of the conversation, then we'll talk through those options together.
All right, that's a good option.
Awesome.
And I
Well,
know you also have mental coaching or other courses available too, right? And free trainings.
yeah, absolutely. So I've got tons of resources on my website. So if you go to mgpcoach.com, that is where you can find a lot of different resources. Also, we have a course. So I have a 12-week Mind Over Mental Block course that's available. We are going to be adding in some Q&A, office hour, like more live coach sessions. So to make sure that as you're working through the content and the curriculum and my 6-step Mind Over Mental Block process, as you work through that every week, you have an opportunity to ask your questions in person with a coach, one of my expert mental coaches. So that is an option. And then we're also going to be starting small group classes here in the next little bit. So so keep an eye out for information on that. So lots of ways to get support from us. Just get in contact with us however you can. But a good place to start is that mgpcoach.com, our website.